once of a bit since I've done a speed reviews, and my speed reviews drawer, you guys, was overflowing. I could barely open it. So today I had to sit down, pull out the products that I felt comfortable reviewing for you guys, giving that final review, and we have rounded up 30 products and given my drawer some air to breathe. If you're new here, my speed reviews is basically every single new item that I try on my channel. It lands in my speed reviews drawer and it stays in that drawer until I've tested it enough times in multiple ways with multiple products, multiple wear tests, that I feel comfortable enough to give you the final review, my final thoughts. So let's go ahead and get into it because we have 30 items to cover today. First two items are primers from Laura Mercier. They recently-ish redid their primer collection, all new packaging. I believe they improved the formulations as well. So the first one that I have is the Pure Canvas Primer Hydrating. This is really beautiful. It's lightweight. It soaks into the skin nicely. If you have dry skin, I highly recommend this. It doesn't feel too heavy or oily on the skin. It's a great, like if you forgot to put on moisturizer, this is nice. Or if it's been a while since you've put on your moisturizer and have done your skincare, this is also really great to give that extra shot of hydration back into your skin. I recommend this if you're looking for a hydrating primer. Laura Mercier typically does a nice job with their primers. This doesn't fall short of that. The next primer that I have is from Laura Mercier as well. It's the Pure Canvas Primer in the blurring formula. Honestly, I don't notice this doing too much. I haven't noticed any blurring from it. It might have oil control, but I'm not really oily enough to say. I just know every time that I've used this, it's done nothing. It's been an extra step in my routine. So while I love the original primer from Laura Mercier and I love the hydrating primer from Laura Mercier, I personally didn't notice this doing anything. Semi-new at this point, we have the Benefit Du La La. This is a liquid, what they call highlighter. You can mix it in with your foundation. You can put it on as like a glowy base. You can put it on as a highlight. To be honest, this is an unnecessary extra step in my routine. I don't find it's very glowy. It's nice and natural enough that you can put it over your skin with nothing else and it'll give a little bit of a glow. But beyond that, the glow goes very unnoticed. When I mix it in with foundations, it just disappears. Also, when I use it as like a liquid highlight, it's just not glowy enough. So unless I'm literally using this as a bare glow for my skin with nothing else, I don't really have much use for this in my routine. I also believe it made the foundations that I put on next patchy and peely. This can go all over the skin, but I think it makes foundations react a little funny with it. So I'm not a big fan of this product. A couple foundations to go over. I actually have a lot in my speed reviews drawer that I have to get on with testing. The first one that I have is the most affordable one. No, it's not. I'm lying. It's the second most affordable one. But this is from Makeup Revolution. It's the Skin Silk Luminous Serum Foundation. This is by far the best Makeup Revolution foundation that I've ever tried. It's really light on the skin. It's very natural. This did act funny with the Benefit Du La La underneath, but I redid it, and so now it's really smooth. It's very thin. It's very lightweight. Its biggest weakness, I would say, is longevity. Like most Makeup Revolution foundations, it doesn't have the longevity that I'm looking for. Like at the end of the day, it just doesn't look quite as smooth. It doesn't look quite as light. But for the price point, I think it's very, very nice. For Makeup Revolution, it's their best foundation by far, and the packaging of this is gorgeous. I just am not going to wear this on a super long day, but for everyday makeup, running out the house, running errands, quick Saturday, want to look a little bit nicer, I very much like this. This has been in my speed reviews drawer for a while because I kept getting mixed results with this. I'd have good makeup days with this, I'd have bad makeup days with this, but overall I don't think it should be so inconsistent. This is a Super Goop Protect Tint Daily SPF tint. You get little to no coverage with this. It is a tint, but that's just something to note. It does leave a nice hydration behind. It is very, very, very temperamental with skincare that you put underneath. Some days it's fine, some days it's not. Some days it's patchy, some days it's not. Sometimes it looks a little bit heavier and oily than other days, and some days I'll use this on like a super light natural makeup day. I'll put this all over with a little bit of concealer and the rest of my makeup, and it looks so good. So because I kept getting mixed results, I kept leaving it in the speed reviews drawer to try again. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of tints and tinted moisturizers on the market that I just think are better and more reliable. So if you tell me you're looking for a skin tint with SPF, this isn't the one that I'm going to direct you towards. It's not terrible once you get the base surrounding it down, but as a makeup reviewer, as somebody who tests different products every single day, I just can't have an inconsistent product like this in my routine. And then the last foundation that I have is actually the most affordable foundations on the market. It is the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. I don't know how this has sat in my drawer for so long because I have known from bat how much I love this foundation. Not only is it one of the most affordable, it's so good. It's one of the best at the drugstore. Now, reminder, I do have dry skin. I love how smooth this looks on the skin. I feel like it blends out like butter. It has a medium coverage. It's right in the middle of everything. Not too glowy, not too matte, not too full coverage, not too light coverage, not too heavy, but not too light. It reminds me a lot of the Fenty Soft Lit foundation. Now, I would say the Fenty Soft Lit is a better version of it. You pay more for it, and I can tell within the price point, but it has similar characteristics. It's only $7. The biggest downfall here is the wear time. Just like the Makeup Revolution, I'm not wearing this on a long, busy, hot day. I'm just not. It's not going to look well. It's going to look a little bit heavier on the skin, but on a good day indoors, love this foundation. Super amazing, not even just for the price point. A couple concealers. This was in my drawer for a while because I just couldn't believe how much I didn't like it, so I kept using it. It is the Rephr concealer. Unfortunately, I'm just not a fan. This formula separates quite easily, so it's important that you shake it before each use. It's very, very thin. It gives about a medium coverage, but what I don't like about this is it seeps into the fine lines, just ages my under eyes and makes them look a little bit on the dry side. I have concealers that look better, last longer, wear better. There's something about this where I feel like even the coverage of this kind of separates and it doesn't give me much coverage. It just ages my under eyes. So overall, was not a fan of this. However, a concealer that I have been loving that I didn't want to take out of my speed reviews drawer because I wanted to continue testing and using it is the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Lift and Flex Concealer. This gives medium to full coverage. I would say it has a relatively hydrating feel. It just looks smooth, creamy, milky on the under eyes. Comparing it to the Rephr, it fills in. I look younger with this. It feels lightweight. It doesn't feel too heavy. A phenomenal concealer. I love this. Danessa did her thing with this. It's interesting, I didn't have any regular bronzers, but I had 2 bronzing drops, and I am not a bronzing drop girl. I like to use bronzing drops most of the time just as my bronzer. I don't self-tan. A lot of times my body is lighter than my face. I don't need to use them, so I'll use them to bronze. Now this one is super good. I'm really impressed with this. As somebody who doesn't love a bronzing drop, this is gorgeous. This is the e.l.f. bronzing drop. I have this shade Pure Gold. There's something really smooth about this. I feel like a lot of times with bronzing drops, they just don't look quite even on the skin. They look patchy. They require being blended with something like a moisturizer of some sorts to give it that smooth look. This is beautiful on its own. I've been using it as a bronzer. I saw a really great video where they used this with foundations and mixed it with foundations to make it darker to match their skin tone better. And I fully believe that this is a good one to do that with because it's so smooth. It's not glittery. It's not metallic. This is one of my favorite bronzing drops that I've used. I love the finish of it. I love how it's more on the flat side of color. Really great. Flat side of finish, not color. Another one that I've been using and enjoying, which I didn't think I would enjoy because it's a bronzing drop that's kind of a little, I don't want to say glittery, but it just doesn't look as smooth and as flat like the e.l.f. It's the Cali Ray Sun Drip Skin Boosting Peptide Serum Bronzer. And it does have that gel-like serum kind of feel. It is very warm in color. I've been using this a lot as bronzer and it's really been beautiful over the summertime to make it look like I got more sun than I did. It's the kind of product where it's been in my speed reviews drawer in front of me and I've enjoyed my time with it. Will I be reaching for this after it goes in my main makeup collection? Probably not. I'm more likely to reach for a real liquid bronzer over this. or maybe I'll use this with my liquid bronzer to kind of warm it up. It'll be good for mixing. I like it. I don't love it, but I'm also not a bronzing drop person, so take that review with a grain of salt. Blushes, of course, we have a lot of blushes today. We'll start off with one of my favorites, probably my favorite in today's video, the Rhode Pocket Blushes. I was so stunned. I got all of the colors in the mail, and I'm so happy that I did. These are everything I want in a cream blush, other than the packaging. The packaging's chunky for no reason, but the formula itself, it's creamy, it's easy to blend, but it does have somewhat of a dry down. It has pretty good longevity to it. It's pigmented, but not too pigmented because of how easily it blends out, but it also is gorgeous on the lips. Very, very few times have I come across a cream blush that actually works well on the lips and is a good lip formula. It's nice and hydrating on the lips as well. The color that you see is the color that you get on your lips, and it is really easy to get a true monochromatic look with this because of how versatile the formula is. Super good cream blush formula. The packaging chunk for no reason. I don't want to put this chunk in my pocket, but I love the formula and the colors stunning. I occasionally get some ColourPop PR where I'll get their whole collections, but of course with the whole collections it can be, this is not complaining, but it's overwhelming. There's a lot of products to go through. I just don't need everything. So I've picked from a couple collections some of the cheek products. We'll start off with the Pokemon collection. I believe I ended up keeping almost all of these blushes. One thing about ColourPop, I love their blushes. I'm probably going to keep most of them. So from their Pokemon collection, they had these Instant Crush cream blushes that are supposed to have a natural matte finish. These are quite a unique cream blush formula. They felt a little cheap to me, but they work great, which is so funny. Today, I demonstrated the shade Electro Ball. I saw this video where a Victoria's Secret makeup artist said everybody thought that they used pink on the model's cheeks, but it was actually red. It just looks so natural and flushy. So since then, I've been experimenting with red blushes, and it's been really fun, and this one is really great because it's not too pigmented. These aren't wet and creamy and emollient feeling like a lot of the popular cream blushes, but they apply great as long as you use a brush big enough to layer the bristles and pat it down. It blends into the skin nice. This is different because it's not as wet and creamy. It's more of a matte dry down. I like these. I mean, these formulas aren't going down as an all-time favorite, but I thought the colors in this collection were really interesting but still quite wearable. So I've been enjoying these. Again, they aren't making a mark in history for me, but I liked them enough to keep them, and I like the colors. This collection is resonating with me. Just the colors that they chose. It's the Beauty and the Beast collection. I ended up keeping two of the blushes, and they're both so beautiful. The first one, Chip, is the one that I demoed. Talk about the perfect bronzed summer blush. I used to be intimidated by colors like these, but so beautiful. And I love ColourPop powder blush formulas. They're so high quality. They last a long time. They're easy to use. You can build up pigment. You can keep it light and natural. And then the other shade I kept was Mrs. Potts. Just a really beautiful everyday pink blush. Like I said, I love ColourPop blushes. They're a formula I use frequently. So having these in my speed reviews drawer has been a joy. I have loved having these. These have been perfect colors for summer. Sad to put them in the general population because I want to continue reaching for these a lot. I have two liquid blushes from the drugstore. They launched around the same time. I thought they would be a little bit similar, but alas, they are not. First, we have the Maybelline Sun Kisser, blushes. Horrible, don't buy these. These will break up your makeup underneath and make it patchy. You will be able to see your skin right underneath. It will move that foundation right off. I had said how when I was using these and testing these, Love Island was still going on, and those girls were using this blush because they were sponsored by Maybelline, and I'm like, that has to be ruining their makeup. Just horrible. Something a little bit better, but still not the first liquid blush I would recommend, are the L'Oreal Lumi liquid blushes. It's unfortunate because the colors in this line were prettier. They're just harder to blend. It's a different scenario than the Maybelline. They don't get quite as patchy, maybe sometimes with the wrong product, but for the most part, I can make these work better, but they dry pretty fast. They're difficult to blend, and you have to put a little bit of elbow grease into that, and because you put a little bit more pressure, then it causes the makeup underneath. to mess up. So these also haven't been my favorite. They're a lot better. They're easier to work than the Maybelline, but again, when it comes to the grand scheme of like what you're able to get on the market nowadays, I would not point you to these. Very, very popular powder blush formula that I've been testing are from NYX. It's their Buttermelt blushes. These are a powder formulation. They are pigmented. So what became popular first was the bronzer version of these. So when these blushes launched, they were quite the big deal. And so I had to pick up a couple colors. They have a couple finishes. Use a light hand, but they are easy to use as long as you know what you're getting yourself into. A good blush pickup from the drugstore. If you have a deeper complexion, I think these are going to be awesome for you. Very nice formula. I do prefer a softer formula just because I'm on the lighter side. So for that reason, I have to be more mindful when I use these. But they're awesome. I mean, if you're going to the drugstore, this is one of the formulas that I would probably recommend to you. And then lastly, in the blush category, sorry, just grabbing them all over here. You might recall a couple months ago, Odin's Eye launched their Soul Main 2 collection, and there was an eyeshadow palette that was gorgeous. And they also launched some new cheek colors. So we'll start off with the orange packaging here, which are more blushy. So the two blushes are very pretty. I think Odin's Eye has a beautiful blush formulation. I mean, nothing to write home about, but if you're supporting the brand, you're picking up in order. Lilac Mist, Pink Bloom, very pretty blushes. You know, nondescript, just a good quality blush formula. Also in the orange packaging is Solar Eclipse. Too glittery. Not a fan of this. While I recommend the flat colors, I do not recommend this. I was a glitter ball. The glitters also really separate from one another, so it just is too much. Now in the purple packaging, we have more highlighters. Again, these are quite glittery. If you're a rave goer, if you love going to festivals and concerts, you're going to love these. But for me, a very boring gal, too glittery for me. The colors are a little holographic depending on what you end up with. So pretty on the eyes, not on my face personally. There is an audience for this. I am not that audience. But for what they are and what they look like, you get what you pay for. They're beautiful. I do also have a similar story with the Flower Nose liquid highlights here. This is from their new Midsummer Fairy Tales collection liquid highlighter, but these are glittery as well. They're very thin, really pretty. They have like a holographic or multi-chrome shift to them, just not flattering on the face. So these I'm never going to reach for. While I love looking at the packaging of these, I felt these were a bit ill-fitting in the collection. They were kind of random, judging off of the other products within the collection. I'm sure like the formula is fine, but I will never wear these. The colors are ugly, and it's a bit glittery for me. Also, we had the Patrick Ta highlighter launch. Ooh, I was so scared when I put my review up for these because nobody was really talking about them yet, and my review was not glowing. Get it? Highlighter, not glowing. Anyways, so these are the Major Glow Cream and Powder Light Reflecting Highlighter Duos. 2 of the 3 of mine came broken on the fault of Sephora, not Patrick Ta, but that still does go to show how soft the powders are here. Weird. The powder portion, it doesn't quite soak into the skin or sit on the skin. I feel like it sits on top of the skin. And then the highlight, too dang sticky. If you have hairs, if you have a lot of baby hairs, it's just not practical because your hairs will stick to it. I don't find it very pretty either, to be honest. My sugar came all goopy. Like, this has to be a problem with the formulation. Like, I can leave with a decent looking highlighter, but with the price point, with the standard that I hold Patrick Ta to, these were very, very disappointing, especially knowing highlighters, they are not hard to formulate. There are so many good highlighters on the market, and I feel like he was trying to be different, but the different didn't work out in this scenario. And then the last highlighter, the last complexion product that I have to talk about is from L'Oreal. It's the Infallible Fresh Wear highlighter, which I see they're doing a lot of marketing for. Nothing to write home about. I really wouldn't recommend it. Mine is already starting to get hard pan, not flattering on the cheek, emphasizes texture. A lot better options at the drugstore. A lot better options even within the L'Oreal line. Just not into this. I have 3 eyebrow products. The first one is from Flower Nose, also from that Midsummer Fairy Tales collection. This is the eyebrow palette. I have mine in the shade 01 Latte Brown. It is a powder eyebrow palette. So I can see a lot of people not using this because powder brow products are not popular, but they are so good. The colors in here are gorgeous. Really easy to use formula. Bring back brow powders because they really create the most beautiful soft brows. These pigments, they stick to the skin despite going over the eyebrow. Gorgeous formula, gorgeous packaging. If you're into brow powder, definitely recommend this. The first brow gel that I have is from MAC. It's the Pro Luct Brow Gel. The formula itself is pretty nice. It does leave a cast, like a hardness to the brows if you're not a fan of that. Unfortunately, what I'm not a fan of is the spoolie here. It's really spiky. It kind of hurts. It's quite sharp. So if you go into your makeup, if you have foundation on, it breaks it up. It leaves like stroke marks from this because it's just a bit too sharp. It also has a flat side that you flatten the brows with. I don't know, it just doesn't flatten them out where I want them to. I feel like my brows go haywire when I try to use this. So the formulation here is fine. It has great hold. It's the applicator itself that I'm not a fan of. We also have the e.l.f. Brow Lamination Gel. This is a very nice brow gel from the drugstore. Of the brow gels of this style, because this is not original to e.l.f., is this the best one that I've used? There are better out there. Is it the worst one I've used? No, it has decent hold. As somebody who has stubborn brows, my brows will fall with this, especially if I put them really fluffy. It doesn't give that great of a hold. Today I have them a little bit more slanted, a little bit more natural. Has a good hold today. So what you do, it's this like white stuff. Just brush it through the brows and you're like, okay. And then you use one of the brush sides of your choice to brush and place and set the hairs where you want. This is not too crunchy. It's not too hardening. I think a lot of people will like this. This is a decent one. Again, not my favorite as somebody who has stubborn brows, but it can get the job done for sure, especially if you don't have really intolerable brows, honestly. Oh, these are so good. I've been wanting to update you guys on these. These are, in my hand, the best drugstore eyeshadow stick I've ever used. These are the L'Oreal Lace Shadow Sticks. I was not expecting them to be so good. They are everything I want in a cream shadow stick. They are creamy to put on. You can blend with them. You can use a tool. You can use your finger. Bonus points because they feel cooling on the eyelids and they have gorgeous, gorgeous colors. The only thing I would say about these is maybe they don't go on as pigmented as I would like them to, but I can forego that for the finish that these have, for the soft, creamy application that these have. They don't tug on the eyelid at all, so they are very easy for that everyday simple shadow look. So are these better than like Laura Mercier? No, Laura Mercier is the queen of eyeshadow sticks for sure, but seriously, when it comes to drugstore, these are the best by far, and they last really well on the eyes. I'll notice, like you'll see, I do have a crease on my eye that's just there. It will remain in that crease. But other than that, stays in place, really good longevity. Alright guys, we're finishing up this video with lips. Small lip category today. Normally it's either really big in the complexion or really big in the lips, depending on what's trending. Eyes, for a short while in the beginning of my speed review series, there would be a lot more, but not as much nowadays. I do have a lip liner that I'm reaching for, probably the cheapest lip liner on the market. These are the e.l.f. Cream Glide lip liners. Love the colors that they have. My issue with these is they don't set down, they don't last a long time, they are so quick to fade. They will fade if you put a gloss on. So unfortunately, while these are super cheap and they feel amazing to apply because of how creamy they are, when I use lip liners, it is for longevity. These don't hit the mark. I will continue to use these. They're in my collection. If I ever do full face of e.l.f., I will mention these. You can't beat $2. So even though I'm talking bad about the longevity, they're $2. I'm not offended, but just know they don't last. These are an underrated product. I've been using these before I sit down to do my makeup, or if I'm doing a really natural lip, this will be my lip product of the day. These are from Sigma. They are the Hydro Melt Lip Masks. I would say my favorite color has been the shade Tint. Though I say shades, they're pretty clear no matter what one you get. They're just a really lightweight, hydrating lip mask. They have like a glowy look to the lips, so they're kind of like a gloss. The scent is very faint but pleasant. I like these. They're just a lip mask that adds a little bit of glowiness. They feel hydrating. They're great to put on before makeup. They're great for a natural lip just to add a little bit of a glow. I love a good lip mask. I think these are very nice. Gisou launched a new color of their honey-infused lip oils. This one is it Coconut Shimmer? Coconut Frost. I love these. The formula isn't like A tier or anything, but it's good enough. The bottle is so pretty, the experience is there. I do have to say, I don't like this white shimmeriness. It does add a milkiness to the lips, but I just want a color personally. I hate how the doe foot gets stained with light colors like this. Smells like coconut. Beautiful thin oil formulation. I'm more into thick formulations on the thinner side, but still hydrating, not the longest lasting. I put up with it for some reason. I really like the glow that these give in the other colors. So Coconut Frost isn't my jam personally. If you're a bare lip kind of girl and like a clear gloss, I do think you will like this a lot. I like it, I don't love it. It's been just kind of there if I've needed a little bit of glow and shimmer to the lips. Summer Fridays, it's not their newest anymore, but it's been sitting in my speed reviews drawer. The Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm in Iced Coffee. This was a re-release. A lot of people asked for them to bring it back because it was once limited edition. I didn't try it the first time, but I now know why. I would have been in the streets protesting for this because it smells delicious, like a caramel latte, and it is not a faint scent. Sorry, I want fragrance in my makeup and I want it to punch me in the face when I open it, and that's what this does. Especially with a lip product, it's actually quite dangerous because it smells so good. It's a very light, sheer brown, doesn't really add that much color. Most of the enjoyment here is going to come from the smell when you apply it. See, not too much, but it's still nice with a brown lip liner, and it's still that great formula, really hydrating, lasts on the lips a long time. Going to be essential in the winter months. Love this formula, love the smell. Color, eh. I need more color Summer Fridays. Anyways, the very last product that I have in today's speed reviews is from Revlon. I picked this up months ago. It's because Madeline Klein partnered with Revlon for the Met Gala, and she wore this lip, and I thought it was a gorgeous nude that I ran out and I bought it. It is the cream lipstick in the shade Bare It All. Honestly, if you're fair-skinned, kind of the perfect nude. Really nice formula. I mean, lipsticks, you can get away with the formula not being great, smooth, and creamy. It's not the greatest, smoothest, creamiest formula I've ever used, but it's just a beautiful color, a great one to have in your purse. If you lose it, no biggie, buy it again. I've enjoyed this a lot, and with just like a brown lip liner, gorgeous. So, definitely recommend this. This is a good one to pick up at the drugstore. And there we have it, you guys. Those are all 30 of the products that I have been testing and have been ready to give you my final thoughts on. These are now officially ready to go join general population to make more room for new products to test out. If you've tried any of these products, make sure you comment down below your thoughts on these. Were you curious about these? Are you surprised by my thoughts on some of these? As always, I promise you, no matter what, if I try a product on my channel, you will hear about it again. And this is that moment for 30 of these products. So I hope you guys have a good one. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel for more. I try to do these speed reviews every 2 to 3 weeks if I am able to. So if you enjoyed it, there's definitely more coming your way. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys, have a good one.